Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're talking about 5 different Muay Thai stances, their pros and their cons. Also, check out the blog article that I wrote in the description below, getting into detail even further, talking about these 5 different stances. That way you get to master your Muay Thai stance. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and notification button, and without further ado, let's get started. Let's get started with the first one, your root stance. I take my fight stance here with my feet shoulder width and 50% of the weight on each of the legs. So shoulder width on all sides, hands up, shoulders forward, stomach hollow, chin down. This is going to be your root stance. I'll show you on this side as well. Now, your root stance, I like to call it that because from here you can go to the other stances with one step. From here, I can go to a wider stance or I can go to a shorter stance. Of course, I can take a step to the side very easy. So 50% of the time, 50% of the fight, I'm usually in this stance because from here, I can go to the other stances. There's always a misconception that one stance is better than the other. That is not correct in my opinion because each stance is good for a certain thing and bad for a certain thing. So learning how to use all the stances, especially the one that you're most comfortable with, is going to be the best for you. But in this video, we're going to go through all the stances and then see what works for you. Let's go to the second stance, which is going to be the wider stance. The wider stance, just like the name says it, is just a wider stance. Now from here, you have more base, right? You have more balance because you have a wider stance. And since you're sitting down a little bit more, you have more powerful punches. So from here, you have powerful punches. If you want to throw heavy knockout punches, this wide stance is going to be the stance for you. Now, let's go to stance number 3. It's going to be the short stance. So short stance, here's my root stance. Right now, is really short. From here, I can block a lot easier and I can teep a lot easier. If you already know how to block or if you practice your blocks, you will see that naturally from here, your stance will go to when you start to block. It's very hard to block from here. You have to do a big movement. You can, but it's going to take a lot longer. So if you want to throw your teeps, right? You want to block and you want to throw your kicks, the shorter stance is going to be for you for that instance. Now, let's go to the stance that, let's talk about the different weight distributions. So let's say stance number 4, right? So weight distributions, you can put your weight forward, right? This is a little bit more offensive by putting your heel up, right? Here, I'm a little bit more forward. I have a little bit more offense. Or you can put your weight backwards. So I can put my weight on the back foot, and then from here, I can block and be a little bit more defensive. That way I can use my lead leg a little bit more, all right? So make sure to use all of your stances. You can use different width of your stances and you can also use different weight distributions. For the most part, I like to be 50-50, but if you want to be a little bit more offensive, you can go a little bit more on the front foot. Very important to keep your head still inside of your box. Does not matter which stance you take. I still want to keep my head between my legs. I do not want to fall to the side or anything like that. Now, stance at number 5, right? The last stance, of course, is going to be our clinch stance. So our clinch stance, I'm striking here. As soon as I get into close range in close combat and I'm trying to grapple here, I change my stance to my feet being wide and then my feet facing about 45 degrees, going up slightly on the balls of the feet. From here, I can clinch, I can turn my opponent, I can elbow, I can do lots of different things, all right, guys? So not one stance is better than the other. They're all great stances and they all have their pros and they have their cons. So make sure to use all the stances and see what works for you. That way you can become a much stronger and better Muay Thai fighter. All right, guys, make sure you train. If you love this video, make sure to check out your VIP Academy down at the description below with higher quality videos, hundreds of more workouts and technique breakdowns, and of course, access to myself. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and see you guys in the next video.